Why do so many men keep their struggles bottled up? It's not because they don't feel pain, it's because they've been taught that talking about it makes them weak. But here's the truth. Silence doesn't make you strong, it makes you suffer. And today, we're breaking that silence together. Welcome to Will Men Talk, the place where we have real conversations about mental health, self-improvement, and becoming stronger. Not by pretending we're okay, but by actually working through what's holding us back. In this video, we're going to unpack why so many men feel the need to suppress their emotions, and more importantly, 3 powerful ways to start opening up. Let's face it, guys. We live in a world that tells us to bury our emotions, to toughen up, to be strong and silent. From a young age, we're conditioned to believe that showing any sign of vulnerability is a weakness. Society has drilled this idea into us. Man up. Don't be soft. Real men don't cry. These phrases are more than just words. They are commands that shape our behavior and our self-perception. Sound familiar? These aren't just words. They shape how we see ourselves. They create a mold that we feel pressured to fit into, often at the expense of our true selves. They make us believe that showing emotion is equal to being weak. This belief is so ingrained that many of us don't even question it. We start to equate vulnerability with failure, and that, my friends, is a dangerous path to walk. It isolates us and makes us feel alone in our struggles. Think about the messages you received growing up. Were you taught to be open about your feelings, or were you told to keep them to yourself? What did it mean to be a man in your family, in your community? Were you encouraged to express your feelings, or were you told to suck it up and move on? Were you encouraged to express your feelings, or were you told to suck it up and move on? These early lessons stick with us, shaping our adult lives. We're bombarded with images of stoic men, action heroes who never shed a tear, athletes who push through pain without a grimace. These images reinforce the idea that real men are always in control. And while physical strength is important, what about our emotional well-being? It's equally crucial, yet often neglected. What about the strength it takes to acknowledge our struggles and seek help? This kind of strength is often overlooked, but is vital for our mental health. The truth is, suppressing our emotions doesn't make us strong. It makes us sick. It leads to a buildup of stress and emotional pain that can manifest in various harmful ways. It eats away at us from the inside, leading to anxiety, depression, and a whole host of other problems. These issues can become overwhelming if not addressed. It's time to challenge these outdated notions of masculinity. We need to break free from these chains and redefine what it means to be a man. It's time to redefine what it means to be a man in the 21st century, a man who is both strong and emotionally aware. We can be strong and emotional. We can embrace our full range of emotions without fear. We can be successful and vulnerable. These qualities are not mutually exclusive. We can be leaders and ask for help when we need it. True strength lies in recognizing our humanity and embracing it fully. Let's go back in time for a moment. Picture the innocence and simplicity of childhood, where every day was an adventure and every moment a discovery. Imagine this. A young boy falls off his bike. The world seems to stop for a second. He scrapes his knee. His heart is racing and tears well up in his eyes. The pain is sharp, but the emotional sting is even sharper. His dad rushes over, but instead of comforting him, he says, "Come on, don't cry. Be a man." The words are meant to toughen him up, but they cut deep. That boy, he learns a powerful lesson that day, but not the intended one. He learns to hide his pain, to mask his vulnerability. He learns that his pain is inconvenient, that his tears are unwelcome. He starts to believe that showing emotion is a sign of weakness. He learns to equate emotional expression with weakness, and that pattern, my friends, follows him into adulthood. It becomes a silent rule he lives by. Think about your own childhood, the moments of joy, the moments of fear. Were you allowed to cry, to be scared, to express your emotions freely? Or were you taught to bottle them up? Or were you met with disapproval, with those subtle or not so subtle cues that told you to shut down, to toughen up? These moments leave a lasting impact. These early experiences, they become ingrained in us. They shape our emotional landscape. They shape our beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. They influence how we interact with others. We carry them with us, often unconsciously, into our relationships, our careers, our entire lives. They become the silent scripts we follow. And the thing is, it's not anyone's fault, really. It's a cycle that has been passed down through generations. Our parents, they did the best they could with what they knew. They were doing what they thought was right. They were raised with the same limiting beliefs, the same societal pressures. They too were shaped by their own childhood echoes. But we don't have to perpetuate the cycle. We have the power to change. We can choose to break free from these outdated patterns. We can create a new narrative. We can learn to recognize the echoes of our past and choose a different path forward. A path that embraces emotional honesty and vulnerability. Here's a hard truth, gentlemen. Ignoring our emotions doesn't make them disappear. In fact, it often makes them stronger and more difficult to manage. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The more you push, the more resistance you feel. You can push it down with all your might, but eventually, it's going to pop back up, often with more force than before. This is the nature of suppressed emotions. Bottling up our emotions takes a toll. It drains our energy and affects our mental well-being. It manifests in unhealthy ways: anger outbursts, reckless behavior, substance abuse, even physical health problems. These are signs that something deeper is wrong. We might think we're in control, but the truth is, our suppressed emotions are controlling us. They influence our actions and decisions in ways we might not even realize. Think about a time when you were under immense stress. How did you handle it? Did you acknowledge your feelings, or did you try to power through them? What was the outcome? Reflect on how it affected you and those around you. When we suppress our emotions, we're not only hurting ourselves, but we're also damaging our relationships. We struggle to connect with others on a deeper level because we're afraid to let them see our true selves. We build walls instead of bridges, and that leads to isolation and loneliness. This isolation can be devastating. We might think we're protecting ourselves, but in reality, we're cutting ourselves off from meaningful connections. We build walls instead of bridges, and that leads to isolation and loneliness. The good news is, it doesn't have to be this way. There are steps we can take to change this pattern. The good news is, it doesn't have to be this way. We can learn to manage our emotions in a healthier way. There's a better way, a healthier way to deal with our emotions. It starts with acknowledging that we're feeling something. It starts with acknowledging that we're feeling something and understanding that it's okay to feel. Giving ourselves permission to experience the full spectrum of human emotions. This acceptance is the first step towards healing. It's about understanding that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a strength. It's a sign of courage and self-awareness. It takes courage to be honest with ourselves and others about what we're going through. This honesty can lead to profound personal growth, and when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open ourselves up to deeper connections, to genuine support, and to true healing. We open ourselves up to deeper connections, to genuine support, and to true healing. This is the path to emotional freedom and a more fulfilling life. Men don't have to suffer in silence. Strength isn't about hiding your struggles. It's about facing them head on. Start small, write it out, reach out, one step at a time. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What's one thing you do to take care of your mental health? And if you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more real conversations. Remember, talking isn't a weakness. It's how we grow stronger.